So okay, what do we have? We have definitely, in my opinion, the most important for most people, live acts and basically gigs. Then you have this kind of accumulative streaming, Bandcamp, and any kind of other monetization. Could be YouTube, could be SoundCloud, could be anything basically. As I said, it's comparatively much more than my streaming and sales revenue. But I'm a terrible disorganized person. Like I'm so disorganized that this obviously has an effect on my streaming revenue. It's like if you're working 1,000 tracks and release only 20, then you're decapitating yourself or the potential. But yeah, those are the things that I believe that really, really made me money. And there were times I remember where I made as much as a lawyer in some months. You know what I mean? Like some good booking months, like season time, winter time. For me, it was mostly winter time for some bizarre reason because I played more outside of Europe than inside of Europe. Um, that was good times, bro. I have to say. But that's really like it's not something stable or guaranteed. I think it's something that you really have to calculate with that. Okay, maybe you're riding the wave right now, but probably it will not be like that forever. You know, like if you look around, it's like kind of fluctuation. Artists go up and down in popularity, and it's not staying the same. It doesn't mean that because you are something in some point in time that you are going to be that for the rest of your life. It's a very hard thing, and I think extremely respectable when people achieve that. Like Raja Ram, for example, who is fucking around since the 60s. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's an achievement to be around for such a long time, and it means that you are not only a good musician. It means that you bring all the skills together, basically, networking skills and sales skills, marketing skills, um, branding skills. Music is also a lot about branding, actually. Musicians nowadays are brands, actually.
exactly. Yeah. And the show, he
And
really make the show, the costumes he use. He exactly he making brand actually.
yeah, a super, super strong brand that is basically going above and beyond psytrance culture. It was born in the psychedelic culture, but then actually spread out to all kinds of niches. And fucking 40-year-old housewives like to listen to Schwangel, for example. You know?
Yeah.
Not like that only fucking psy freaks listen to that. And yeah, I have pretty much I respect that dude for sure. Rajaram is kind of a legend, and he differentiated himself with doing that with the costumes and having a lot of people on stage. He brought that kind of original energy of the 70s back, where it was absolutely fucking normal that you have like a bunch of people on stage actually playing instruments and dancing and performing, and you know what I mean? Like if you compare that to a guy that is just standing there and pressing on play, then you can understand why people are more excited about Roger Rum and Spongel than they are about other artists in some cases. It's also like if you look at Tchaikovsky, it's 99% show, and people like it. He actually publicly admitted that he's making a show and that he's doing the air DJ thing that we were doing a video about. Um, but people love it, and it's debatable, of course, but people love to get a show that goes beyond a guy standing there for sure. Like, which is in many cases, it's what it is. Like many psytrance artists, they are just fucking standing there, like doing nothing basically, which is pretty sad. Like that, this became the norm for many cases, but yeah, can have many reasons also why people do that.
I don't know because you have lots of time to do lots of stuffs. You can connect your sequencer, synthesizers,
Yeah.
lots of
Should I
things
tell
and
you something?
effectors. Yeah, sure.
It's in some cases, like for example, Universo Parallelo, uh, people are so scared that something goes wrong there. That a lot of people play backup on big festivals, also on Boom Festival. A lot of people literally press on play and stand there and dance at maximum because they're fucking scared something happens.
Yeah, and they don't want that. They don't want to
Yes.
see that situation. But that's
Yes.
not right, because if you really want to entertain people, if you want to make a great atmosphere, you have to
It's easier
do
said.
lots of things. It's
Sure,
not just
you're
playing
right.
the music.
It's easier said than done because it's fucking easy to make a clown out of yourself also. You know, like the pathway of doing an interesting artistic presentation and performance and being a total clown is very thin.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not so easy actually. It's like, for example, I have a lot of skills that could be implemented in a live act that I want to also. My dream is to one day to electronic psychedelic kind of opera with, you know, dancers, like acrobatics, art, light, visuals, music, all together kind of story. But it's a mammoth project. It's not so easy, and also then you need the right people, and that's also extremely hard in some cases to find those people. But actually, now when I think about it, like I got to know a couple of people who would work for that. Like you would need an ensemble, basically. You would need to have a head of the dancers, you know, a manager of the dancers. You would have to need a manager of the electronic music part. You would need a manager of the kind of instrumentalist who is just like, you know, a little bit like the figurehead who is like helping the other people to coordinate and stuff like that. It's not easy to do an interesting live act, and also it can be you're getting numb, and that's actually quite sad. But it can happen. It happened to me that you're just like you're going around, you're playing, and you're kind of getting numb to it. You know what I mean? It stops being this super exciting happening because you, in some case, I don't know exactly how that came, but I had those moments a couple of times when I had to, like, for example, go and I played on a good party, then I had to go to some shitty party, and it was more exhausting than it was fun. It's not easy to do a really good live act. And actually, for example, prepared DJ sets or pre-mixed Ableton sets, it's not a live act. It's mislabeled.
yeah,
It's totally mislabeled, but it's the norm. And people are looking if you are playing with Ableton. And then, he's playing with Ableton. Well, in some cases, it's in the arranger window. It's not even beat mixed. And if you do it with a beat match, then this is nothing else than a cheap version of a DJ set, basically. So, and people just started to call it live act, whatever it is. So, like, basically nowadays, or since a long time, it means, okay, the guy made the music. If I'm talking about it, I'm realizing, god damn it, that's fucking boring.
it's not act, bro.
Yeah. But I did it a lot of times in my life like that. Like basically playing live DJ sets. I also played backups in my life, in some cases because I had to. In some cases was like really, really, really big gigs, and you at minimum need to have a backup running because it would be a total disaster. And I saw it happen to people, like that they fucked completely up, you know, on big festivals,
What's
like
happened?
technical issue. CD was scratched, and it was like it was, by the way, it was a Iranian guy. Not gonna say who, but it was a Iranian guy, and it was on Universo Parallelo, and it was a night where a lot of high-profile people played, also me, and also Willow Wisp, also Cosmo, and then in the morning he was there, and he had, I don't know exactly what it was. Was it audio interface or CD? But one of the two. Like, I think it was CD like tick, 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 again and again and again and again and again and again. Like it didn't stop. You know what I mean? Like it was like tough
Holy.
situation, tough situation. And then also I remember I had the situation that my sound stopped, for example, for some weird reason, maybe 2, 3 times in my life. But I always managed to be super, super, super mega quick in like doing something so fast that the people don't notice it almost. Like, yeah, it's maybe a second silence, and it's like but it's so short, or 2 second silence. It's so short that the people will have forgotten about it 1 minute after that. It's like that, really like, oh fuck. And I didn't have a backup, but just like fuck, back CD, bam, CD, tack, bomb, done. You know what I mean? Everything less than half a second. This process, or I think so. Really fast fucking reaction in
That's
this case.
that's the really important skill, bro. If you have involved with any trouble, how you solve it, how quickly and easily you do these stuffs. This is really
Bro,
important. It's happened to all of us. We do
bro,
something
I
crazy,
yeah,
bad
exactly.
things happens, but
Yes, I can give you a funny story if you want.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It
sure.
was with Ali Sagedi.
Yeah.
I just have to set up my interface and everything, and nothing worked. Or no, a cable was missing, I believe, or something like that. And I was literally like, had to like hold myself more or less controlled, like that I don't fall off the stage. But in this moment, it's like kind of this adrenaline and everything like that. So I had to it was Gotalion playing before me, and I had really. He said 1 minute, like that. It's like he doesn't give a shit. Like it's like not his problem, of course. And I had to, in this moment, I was totally and had to run around and basically find somebody from the artists there in the dark, in the night, where in the middle of the night, where it's the most confusing moment in a party, where you basically don't see anyone. All the people are tripping balls, and it's like chaos basically. And in this moment, I had to manage fucking cable or another interface or something like that, and I did it like in some way, shape, or form. I did it, but it would all odds were against me, but I still managed to do it somehow.
That's really stressful situations.
Yes.
Oh fuck.
I was also, what also can be quite weird is if you're playing when you are on psychedelics. So like I was also playing on acid a couple of times, and the last time when I did that was in Nepal, and it was in a resort, and it was super super close family kind of story. So you're like, there is no separation anymore from artist to crowd, basically. You're standing in the middle with the people. You're just with the people. And it's kind of a very intense, weird experience because it's your own music. And those 50 people, they're just very close to you. There is no separation. Like on a big party, there's a separation, kind of. There's the person who plays and there's the crowd. And those are two different entities. But on a
Exactly.
family party, it's basically all are one. So like I had a really intense experience about my own music there, about the energy that it creates, etc. And it can be quite weird, actually. But it was a good experience, nevertheless. Really good experience. It taught me something, you can say.
Yeah. It's good to learn from the shitty stuff happens, really.
Yeah, it was not shitty. It was intense.
Yeah, but that
It,
incense is not good. It's shitty
yeah,
situation, but it's
I, I
yeah,
don't
not
I, I don't I don't put it as a bad memory actually. I put this one as a rather good memory nevertheless because yeah, maybe it was not like this kind of self-celebration. Yeah, my music and the people are flipping out and so forth. No, it's like more like kind of spiritual aspect, or I don't know how to explain. But obviously, making music is like in my music, there is a lot of private messages like inside there. It's like basically like a alien diary. It's like a diary about my life, but in another language that is way more complex than normal human language. And to show that to people when everybody is tripping is always kind of is a special thing. But if you are also part of that, it's kind of, yeah, it's bizarre.